Next, let's talk about the settings. There are different functions within the settings. Let's first look at this. The plan control parameter setting is about recipes. Regarding the system, it can have up to 24 recipes. Each recipe can be edited individually. For example, Plan 1. This shows the current recipe. Plan 1. Here is an editor. If we want to edit Plan 1, click the Edit button. You enter an editing interface. On the right, I can add rows. I can also select several rows to delete. You can also insert rows. All values in the recipe can be set individually. The fair timer is a timer. Because it's a recipe, the times must increase sequentially. For example, I set this to 1. After finishing editing my recipe, click Save. Then exit the editing interface. Click Refresh. Assign recipe 1 to the system. To start it, use the keys above. I only set pH here, so I change its normal mode to plan mode. Besides controlling from above. After selecting a recipe, each parameter control interface. When switched to the auto, there will be a choice between step and norm. This syncs with the settings interface. Since I chose plan mode for pH, it also switches here to plan mode directly. If I change this to normal mode, returning to the recipe settings interface, it switches back to normal mode. Now I'll return it to manual mode. Then re-enter the recipe editing interface. Steps can be added infinitely. As long as your process is complex enough, you can keep adding more. It will run according to the timeline. If there are none, for example, if I don't control the DO throughout the process, then don't change it to a recipe. If I switch to another recipe, then there will be no display. My editing is still plan 1. Don't get confused here. Next, I will explain the logic of recipes. You can see I've newly edited a recipe here. Each step has a shorter timer, making it easier to observe changes. Step 0 refers to from 0 hours to 0.01 hours. That is, up to 36 seconds. Its pH will be assigned a value of 1. Then to 0.01 to 0.02. It will always be assigned a value 2. From 0.02 to 0.03 hours, it will always be assigned a value 3. And I switch it to step mode. This will have a direct relation to the batch discussed later. You can see the batch is blank now. The fermentation timer has also not started. Click Fermentation. I start a batch. First, prepare the batch. At this moment, I generated a batch named test, but still hasn't started actually, because it's in the preparation phase. When I'm preparing to sterilize. Then after calibration is completed, I will set them to an automatic mode. You can see it has been set to automatic mode. I set the automatic mode to 7. Then it is controlled according to the recipe. When everything is ready, click the fermentation button. Click the fermentation timing. Okay, it starts fermenting now. The timer starts now. We can see it has been forced to 1. And the timer has also started counting. Now is step 0. Now we've reached the first step. So due to the recipe, it directly changed to 2. "72 seconds have passed now. It automatically moved to step 2, which means it became step 3. I won't demonstrate the rest steps. Let's talk about the settings of peristaltic pumps. 7. The system defaults can allocate these peristaltic pumps. Currently, the execution method is like this, which means pump 1 is an alkali pump, and it is a speed-adjustable pump. If there is no pump, it would be 0 or -1. The speed adjustment function is selected here. If this function is not available, we shouldn't select it. For example, my current auxiliary pump is a fixed speed pump, so I want select speed adjustment for it. The advantage of this function is, for example, my process does not require artificially adding acid, but I need to add a feed 2 pump, so I can assign feed 2 pump to pump 3. Then he is also a variable speed pump. At this time, the interface cannot show duplicate values. So set the acid pump to 0. This could be ignored here, because it is already 0. Now pump 3 is feed 2 pump. Let's return to the main interface. You can see the acid pump has disappeared, and supplement 2 has appeared. Since we set it as speed adjustable, the speed will be displayed here. The coefficient can also be displayed here. Since it is a speed adjustable pump, it supports an advanced supplement function. It can perform calculations and judgments. Generally, once this function is set, it shouldn't be modified. Because during use, if it's arbitrarily changed, it may affect subsequent usage. So it's best to revert it back. It can be seen that feed 2 disappeared, and the acid pump appeared. Next, let's talk about the settings for the alarm function. Click in, and you can see all related parameters can be set. You can set the upper and lower limits for each parameter. Here shows the alarm status. And here is an alarm. Each parameter's alarm can be independently enabled or disabled. Lastly, let's talk about customizing data saving to USB drive. You can name the file. Then, select the time range from start to end. Save the data of this time range to USB as a PDF file. Currently, this device can only save files in PDF format. If you need to save in CSV format, contact Sales